Right. What is functions? Functions means nothing but a group of related statements. It is a group of related statements that perform a specific task. It is a group of related statements that perform a specific task. Now, a function has set of statements and where it is going to take the inputs and it is going to do the some kind of computation and gives the output. Means what is the meaning of this one means every function will take some input and after taking the input it will perform some task. Inside that some lines of code will be there and it is going to perform that lines of code and it is going to give the output. Now let's take with an example so that you can understand this one very easily. So that what is the code means, so here I'm going to take the ABS is the function. So how you can say this is a function? See, whichever is converted to green color like this, automatically we know that it is a inbuilt. It is either to be an in terms of a keyword or it should be a function. Whichever is converted into green color like this. If, else, for, these are all things will convert into the green color. Okay. When you are having other than this, for example, while, for all these things. Now here ABS is a function. It is not a keyword. It is a function. Now whatever the ABS function is there, in this ABS function, I am going to provide some value. And what are the value I have provided? For example, I am providing the value called as -4. And it is going to give the positive number. Output is positive. What happens in the backend means, so what is the backend code of this ABS function? ABS of X. Inside this function, it was written like this. If X value is less than, if X value is less than 0, okay, print -X. If X value is less than 0, print -X. If X value is greater than or equal to 0, print directly the same X. Okay, I have written this one inside the function. Now here ABS of -4. Now this X is equal to -4. Now first it is going to check whether -4 is less than 0. Condition true. So then what it is going to give? Minus of -4, which is plus. If the condition is false, for example, I am writing here +4. Then in that case, what it is going to give? Output as directly 4. Is the point is clear? So what it is going to do means here in understanding words, it is going to take some input value. This is called as inputs. Earlier I told you now, a function is a set of statements. Set of statements means inside that it takes the input. What is the input? It is going to take some X value and do the some specific computation. What is specific computation means? What are the code is there? The set of statements or computation or block of code, everything is same. It is going to execute the program and it is going to give the output from the program. Points are clear? So it is going to take the X value. It will execute this one. According to the execution, it will give the output. That is the meaning of this line. A function is a set of statements. Inside the function, some lines of code will be there, which will take the inputs and do that lines of code and produce the output. Okay, in your simple words, if I have to write, a function is a set of lines of code. It is having a some code. A function is having some code inside it. There is some code and it will take the inputs and do the code. It will complete the code. It will execute the code by taking the input. It will execute the code. Execute the code and it will give the output. This is the function. So a function is having some code inside this, inside it. A function is something which is having some code inside it, which will take the inputs, execute the code, and it will give the output. In a simple words. Every function in the backend, some lines of code was written. Every function code is there inside. Inside some code is there. Any function you take, it will have some code. Okay. So it will take the input and it will perform the code and it will give the output. Right. Now it has to be applied. For example, X is equal to SRK. Some person has given the ABS of SRK. Now it has to throw the error. Now, for example, any person has given the ABS of SRK. Now it is going to throw the error. Now, sir, how it will give this in this case? First, they will write the if type of X, if type of X in, if the type of X is in, int comma float. If the type of X is out of these two only, it has to perform this one. Else, throw the type error. They will write like this. Now, when the X value is equal to either int or float, then only it will work. Otherwise, it will give the error. Like this, they have written the program inside the function. So every function is having the some programs. Is the points are clear? Now, here we are having the two types of functions. Okay, not two, three types of functions are there. One is called as inbuilt functions. Second one is user defined functions. Third one is module functions. Three different types of functions. In today's class, we are going to discuss these two. In the next class, we'll complete this one. Okay. Now, inbuilt functions and user defined functions. What is inbuilt? Inbuilt means it is already integrated with the Python. They are inbuilt. Like example is ABS. ABS is the function. It is already integrated. Now, POW is one more function. Sir, like this, how many functions are there? In the Python, approximately, if you include the inbuilt functions and module functions, in the Python, more than 3 lakhs plus functions are available. More than. I can't say exact number because I also don't know, but it is more than 3 lakhs. But are we going to learn all these 3 lakhs functions, miss? Not only you, any person learns, miss, he will die. He has to go to the Eragada hospital directly. Right? So none of the person is going to learn all the functions. Which are the functions related to that particular domain they are going to learn. For example, as a data analyst, for this particular domain, what functions are required? Only that one we are going to learn, like average function, minimum function, maximum function, or sorting function. What are the functions are related to data analytics? That type of functions we are going to learn. Which are the functions are not related to data analytics? No need to learn. That who are working on that particular area, they are going to learn those functions. Python is not only for data analyst. Python is meant for multiple roles. Multiple roles are going, those people are going to use. For example, you are not going to use the Fourier transform. Means Fourier transform concept only is not there. Huh? Trigonometry you will not use. Sin theta, sin function you are not going to use. Means sin function only is not there. Huh? Sin function is there. Who will use sin function? Means who are using the trigonometry they are going to use. I will not use as a data scientist trigonometry. Then why I have to learn sin theta, cos theta, all these things? What is the use? Is the pointers clear? So whichever the functions related to data analyst role, only those functions we are going to learn. Sir, how I can know which functions are useful for data analyst? Means that is the reason I am here, you are here. If you know that one, why you will enroll for the course? You will only learn on your own now. Right? So we are going to discuss the which are the functions are related to data analyst in the class in detail one by one. Right? Now inbuilt functions. Now this function will take the one value. Now this function will take how many arguments? How we can know? Miss, for every function, they are going to give for you the help file. What is help file? Help file means nothing but documentation. It is going to consist of documentation. Now what is meant by documentation? Documentation means inside that they are going to write this function will take how many arguments and what it is going to return. What arguments it will take and what it will return, only it will be written. Sir, they'll not write the code, sir. No, none of the person will go they'll show the codes. Why, sir? If they show the codes, also it will be easy now. Then you will create a new software now. For example, if you go and purchase one car, in the car, multiple options are there. If you click like this, it will work. If you click like this, it will work. They'll explain. If they start explaining for you from where this one was done, how this process will be done, and if they give the entire user manual with the code, every detail if they publish in the user manual, what is the code behind that? So for example, in your mobile phone, there are apps are there. In the apps, if you click on this app, it will open. After that, it is going to open. Now, here in the user manual, what will be there? If you purchase a mobile, what will be there in the user manual? It will have the apps are there. You have to double click on that in order to open. That one only will be in the user manual. Now, what is the code for that will be in the user manual? No. If they write that code also in the user manual, what happens means next day we'll start the own company. We'll simply copy and we'll start a new company. So none of the person will share that one. That is patented. At the same time, others has to use. Others has to use means how to use that one, they'll explain. That is only called as documentation. Okay. Remember this one. Once you join in the company, when you don't know anything, first thing you have to do is read the documentation related to that. Okay. For example, I have given you the car, one new Benz car. Okay. In that options are there, multiple options are there, but you don't know which one is for what purpose. What you have to do? You will click on that directly. First, you have to read the user manual. After reading the user manual, we have to understand, and according to that, we have to use. Similarly, this function is available. I don't know this function for what purpose. What I have to do? Read the documentation and then use. So to read the documentation, we are going to click on the Shift tab. Shift plus tab. Then automatically you will see some user manual. And here they are going to say that what are the arguments it is going to take. Can you see here what are the arguments? BASC, EXP. Now, what it is going to give means BASC to the power of, double star means power of, EXP means what are the first value you are writing, second value to the power of this one. So here I am writing the 2, 3. What is 2, 3 means 2 power 3 it is going to give, because this will be considered as base and this will be considered as power, exponent. And 2 power 3 which is 8. Now similarly for ABS, now I'm going to click on the Shift tab. What is the argument it is going to take? X is the argument. And what is going to return? Return the absolute value of the argument. It is going to return the absolute value. So here I'm going to use this -4 and it is going to return the absolute value. That is nothing but it is applying the mod. Point is clear, guys? And these are called as inbuilt functions. Now, what is the code in this backend? What is the code for this particular function? Base, exp. What are the words they are using? What are the names they are using? Variable names, that can be anything. Now, first they are going to take like this. What is the code inside? That means if base, type of base, what are the type function, and type of exponent, both of them in int or float, either this one. If this one and this one, both has to satisfy. So the base also should be either in the int or float, exponent also should be either in the int or float. If this is satisfied, internally, I am going to write the code as give the print base to the power of exp. Yes, throw error. That is the code was written inside the function. Now first it is going to check what is the type of base and type of the exponent. If both of them are satisfying, end means both of them, then only the overall output is true. And when both of them are satisfying, it is going to give the output as base to the power of exponent. Like this, they have written the code inside. Is the point is clear? This is called as inbuilt functions. Now, let us create the user-defined function. Now, what is user-defined function? What is the difference between inbuilt and user-defined? Means inbuilt functions will work in every laptop, wherever you have installed the Python, wherever it is. But user-defined functions will execute only in your laptop because it was created by you and it is used by you. User created, user defined means user created functions. I am the user, I am creating one function. This function was created by me. Then how you can know? This function name is available. How you can know? You don't know. This function is available. This function was created by me and it will be useful by me. Now, sir, if I have to use that function means what I have to do means I have to share to you. That function I have to share. Then you can copy that one and you can paste. Okay. User defined functions means user has created the functions. How you are going to create the function means by using the syntax. First, what is the syntax of user defined function means the syntax is, what are the syntax is there? Syntax is def. First you have to write def. After that you have to write any function name of your choice. Sir, what is the rules for the function name? What are the rules are applicable for the variable name? Same rules. Name means only, remember, name means identifier. Whether it is function name, data type name or anything, same rules are applicable. Module name. Tomorrow we are going to discuss modules. For module name, which module name you can keep means which is satisfying the variable name condition. Every name is called as identifier. For all the identifiers, same rules are applicable. So first function name, and you are going to provide the arguments. Okay, arguments. You can name it. Choice is yours. What are the argument names you want to give? You can choose. And inside that, you are going to write the some code. Some code. You are going to write like this. Now, is the point is clear? So this is the syntax of user defined function. Okay. For user defined function, this is the syntax. Syntax for user defined functions. Syntax for user defined functions. This is the syntax. Right? Now, next. So in using this syntax, first I'm going to use the def. Def, I'm writing some name. The name is ABS underscore B or underscore S. Some name, my choice. Don't ask this one. From my perspective, it is ABS created by SRK or ABS underscore SRK. This is the function name. Okay. And this function is going to take the argument, only one argument called as X or A. What are the argument name you are interested? Which alphabet you are interested, you choose. Okay. Now, I'm going to write the code. What is the code means? If A value is less than 0, it has to print the minus A. And else, it has to give print A only. If it is less than 0 means print minus A, otherwise A. This is the code. Function was created. So I told you now, first function name. What is the function name here? ABS underscore SRK. Now arguments. How many arguments are there here? One argument. What is that argument? A. Now, and I'm writing the code. This is the code. Now, after writing the code, now I'm going to use the ABS. Now function was created. This is called as defining the function. Defining or which is also called as creating the function. You are first creating the function. You are defining or creating. Okay, define or create the function. Okay, and Now, second one is call the function. Now you are going to call the function. Now, what is meant by call? Call means nothing but use the function. Call or use the function. What are the function I have created? I'm now going to use that function. What is that function is abs of underscore srk. Inside that, I'm going to give the value as -4. And what is the output it is going to give? It is going to give the output as 4. Is the point is clear? Everyone? Yes or no? Now, so first step is defining the function. Second step is calling the function. Sir, we have to write separate cells, sir. No need. You can even write in the same cell also. I have used the separate cell. You write in the same cell. You are not interested in the separate cells, means take the same cell. Where you have created, there only. Is the point is clear, guys? It is not compulsory to use the separate cell. Now, coming to the next one. Okay. Now this one, here observe clearly. Here I have used the print. Here I am using the print. Where? Inside that. Now I am going to show you one more example. In this, instead of printing, I am returning. Return -a. Return -a. Here also I am going to return. Instead of print, I am going to return a. Okay, wherever the print is there, I am using the keyword called as return. Return -a, return +a. Now, when I'm calling the function, both of them are giving the same output. Can you see? Is there any difference between the print and return, miss? As of now, you have not observed any difference, but there is a difference. What is that difference is? So now, in the last line, it is printing. 4 is printed. Now, for example, I want to store in a variable called as y is equal to. Now, first right side part or left side part? Right side part. What is the right side part? abs underscore srk print of -4. So it is going to print the 4. That print 4 can be stored in the y. Now see this one. Now I'm going to store in the y and I'm printing the y value. Print y. See what is the print y? Print y means none it is saying, because in the y, if you ask y, what is the value of y? What is inside the value? Inside the y, what is there? Nothing is there. It has to give the 4 now. Generally, it has to give the 4 now. Why it is not giving the 4? Or if I print y, why it is giving the none? Why it is giving none? Because here you are printing. So here directly you are printing. Using the print and directly you are printing. Once it is printed means it cannot be stored. Printed means it cannot be stored. Is the point is clear? Once it is printed means it cannot be stored. Storing you want to do means 100% you have to use the return only. For example, I am writing here y is equal to abs underscore srk underscore, this is return. This function name let us give as return. Let us give the name as a return. Now here I am going to have the y, and if I print y, what is the output? It is 4. If I print y here, what is the output? Y is equal to this one, and if I print y, it is giving the none, and it is going to give the 4. Means in this case it is returning the value, in this case it is printing the value. Is the point is clear? Sir, could you explain in a simple word, sir? Still more. రేపు క్లాస్ ఏం లేదు, ఎవరికి ఏం లేదు, అసలు ఎవరికి ఏమీ లేదు. ఎల్లుండి డైరెక్ట్ వర్క్షాప్. Right? Now, sir, beam sir. Example here. Right? Now, So here we are having, to be more simplified, what is the difference between the print and return to be simple? Okay. Now assume that I'm having one box which is having inside the paint. It is a paint box, basically. Some paint is there. Inside that, some paint is there. Now here, using this paint, already I have painted. Some wall is there and I have done already the painting. Now after painting, now I ask you to store that paint. Whether you'll store you have to store means what you'll store? This one you'll store or the painted one you'll store? I ask you to store the paint. Now after painting on the wall, now I am asking to store the paint means not possible now. Same thing. After printing, now you are asking to completed. Painting is completed. Painting means nothing but printing. Printing already completed. Again, you are asking to store that one means from where it will store. Directly, if you give this one, it will store. You can store this one. Directly give the paint only, I will store. You are only painting and asking to store means from where I have to store. Point is clear? So here already it is printed. Printed ones will not be stored. Directly value is that value will be stored, not printed values. Difference is clear, guys, everyone. So every function, what they are going to do means it is going to return. If you observe clearly here in this function shift tab, what they have written here, the word return. It is going to return the value. Now when it is going to return the value, can we store that value? Can we store this one? Yes or no? Yes, because it is returning. Whichever it is returning the value, we can store. Which is printing, we cannot store. Inbuilt functions will return. It will not print. It will return. So that we can store them. Point is clear? Now, so just I'm writing here y is equal to, or y instead of z is equal to ABS of minus 40. Now, which one will be executed means right side part, ABS of minus 40. What is ABS of minus 40 means plus 40. That plus 40 will be stored inside the z. Now, if I print the z, what is the answer means 40. Okay, it is returning the value. So it is storing that value in a variable. If you print that variable, then it will not store in the variable. Is that clear? So now in your functions, what you have to use? A return. Now, sir, okay, sir, return you have used, and this is the function. This is the function which you have created. Done. Nice. Now for this function, if I click on the shift tab, okay, now can you see argument? What is the argument? A. And what it is going to return? Any doc string is available. What is meant by doc string? Doc string means documentation. So here I'm going to create the documentation for this function. How I'm going to create means inside the function, I'm going to write the multi-line comment. What is multi-line comment syntax? Triple quotes open, triple quotes end. Inside this, I'm writing this function will return the absolute value. The function will return the absolute value of A. This function will return the absolute value of A. Now, after writing this one, now see here, if I execute the shift tab, can you see doc string is working? Sir, it is throwing some error now, sir. What is this error? So this function was created with how many arguments? One argument. Now, while calling this function, what is the number it has to work? You have not given anything now. So that is the error. See, line number 13 is the error. So this line you are asking, it is asking the missing required positional argument. So some value you have to give. Without giving the value, what I have to calculate? So it is asking some value. I'm providing some value. Now it is working. And if you click on the shift tab, now doc string, can you see the doc string? So here whatever I have written, this function will return the absolute value of A, the same sentence as this. Clear, guys? So this is called as doc string. And how you are going to provide the doc string means inside the function you have to provide the doc strings. Now let us go to the next one called as user defined functions. How we are going to create all these user defined functions means, now let's open some of the programs which you have executed earlier. Like I'm opening the conditional statements which we have executed in the earlier classes. Now here, what is this program? Can anyone tell me what is this program? What is this program is about? These lines. Ask the user to enter the name. If the name is SRK, print hello SRK. Right? That is the program. Right? Same thing. I'm copying. I'm pasting here. Okay. Now what is the question is? Question is write a program. Write a program. Okay. To ask user to enter the name. To ask the user to enter the name, and if name is equal to SRK, print hello SRK. This is the question. And for this question, this is the answer. Ask the user to enter the name. Asking the user to enter the name. If name is equal to SRK, if name is equal to SRK, print hello SRK, print hello SRK. For this particular given question, this is the answer. And if the user has entered SRK means it has to print the hello SRK. Right? Now, same question, copy and paste. Okay. Right? Instead of writing a program, write a function. Just I have changed it to write a function. Same question. Instead of program, function. Earlier it is program. Now it is a function. That is the only difference. Same answer as it is. Whatever the answer is there, I'm going to write the same answer. Above to this, I will add the def some function name as per your choice. I'm going to give the name. What are the name is there? F underscore name. This is the function. Okay. Column. Completed. Function is completed. Huh? What you have done, sir? Added one line. Adding one line is called as function. Huh? That's it. That is only called as function. Functions are completed. So just you are adding a one line like this on the top is called as functions. For your program, nothing difference, right? Here, what are the three lines are there? The same three lines. Observe this one. If you want, really observe. What is the additional thing I have done? Here, what are the three lines are there? Same three lines. And this is also function. And now this function is having how many arguments, guys? While creating, how many arguments are there? Any argument is there while creating? No argument. While calling also no argument. Function was created with no argument. While calling also you should call with the no argument. See, this function was created. While calling this function, f underscore name. While calling, should I provide the arguments? No. Why? Because this function was created with the arguments? No. So this function also created while calling also no arguments. Execute. It will ask SRK. Same answer, na? Clear, everyone? Yes or no? Yes or no? Right? So, sir, one more. Try with one more example, sir. This is a silly example. Okay. Take one more example. This is a, okay. Ask the user to enter the name. If the name is SRK, print hello SRK. Otherwise, you are not SRK. This is the question. And this is the program. I'm entering here SRK. So hello SRK. If I enter here Siva, it has to say that you are not SRK. Right? This is okay now, everyone? Program is okay na? Same example we have executed na? List is not required, right? Remove this one. Okay, this is the program, right? Everyone is okay with the program, or anyone having the problem with the program? Now, this program I want as a function. What I have to do? Def some function name, bracket, and this one tab space. It should be indentation. Program was converted as a function. This function def f underscore name function like this. Is the point is clear? Now, while calling this function, how to call this function? F underscore name. And whatever these lines of code is there, same lines of code will be executed. SRK means hello SRK. Once again, if you call the function and if you write Siva means you are not SRK. Clear? Sir, this is also simple, sir. Okay, try one more. Sir, only if and else, sir. Okay, let's go with the other programs. Where do you have executed the programs? In the conditional statements, some programs, loops, some programs, for loops, some programs. Sir, open the while loops. Okay, while loops. In this, some programs we used to do na, or we'll go with the for loops. Anything, whichever you want. Choice is yours. Sir, for example, this is the program, sir. What this program will do? 5 times ds will be printed, right? Now, this is the program. In this program, what is there? Infinite loop is there. Now, I'm executing 1ds, 2ds, 3ds, 4ds, 5ds. Done. Now, how to convert this one to a function? Copy, paste, and whatever you have pasted here, move one shift tab. One tab you click by selecting everything, tab. On the top, you write one function name, def some name. This time the name is srk underscore name. There is a function name. Okay. Now, function was created. After function was created, colon. So as per the syntax, after the function name, colon. Now, once function was created, srk underscore name with no arguments. Same answer na. So every function is literally equal to program. Basically, inside the functions, what are there? Programs are there. If you know the programs means functions, okay. If you don't know while loops or for loops or if and else, programs, if you don't know what is the use of functions means there is no use of functions. So every function internally is having the programs. Points are clear? Take any other program. If I show like this, you'll say that, sir, stop, sir. You will only say, because for everything on the top, I will write one name. Completed. Writing one line, completed. Writing one line, completed. I will also write, sir. Go and write. Happily go and write. For every program, you go and write. That is only now, for example, this one is there. What is this program is? I want the odd numbers from 1 to 20. Odd numbers from 1 to 20. Now, okay. We'll explain with arguments. Functions are not completed, guys. I'm showing a silly examples. Okay, next we'll enter into the next one further. Functions will not be completed in one class. I'll explain multiple, right? So this is the program. In this program, you are having like this entire program, you are moving like this, and on the top, you are going to take def some name. What is this name is? List of odd numbers, colon, right? Now this is the function. And after creating the function, you are going to call the function L underscore odd. And you are going to get the output like this. Right, guys? So these are the functions with no arguments. Now let us try with the arguments. Okay. Now let's start like this. what are the functions we are having. So for example, now the same example, whatever you have created with no argument, the same example I'm going to create with arguments, same function. Now what is the arguments means? Start, end, s comma e. And what are the s comma e was given here, that one I'm going to take here. Now this function, first you are going to give the from where to where you want the odd numbers. I'm going to give the starting number as 1 to 20. 1 to 20 I want the odd numbers. So it is going to give the odd numbers. This function was created with no arguments and you're calling with no arguments. This function was created with arguments. What are the arguments? S comma e. What is S means? Starting to where to end. This starting and end only I'm using here. Point is clear? Everyone. This is without arguments. This is with arguments. Right? Now, yesterday we have discussed the multiplication table. Do you remember? Yeah, we'll try with multiple examples, guys. One more example. So this is the multiplication table. This is the example for the multiplication table of the phi table. Okay, this is the phi table. So it is going to give the phi table. Okay, now as this is a normal program. Now this one, what I'm going to do is def multiplication table. Multiplication table, and I'm going to give the table function name is called as m table. In the m table, I'm going to take the argument n, and inside that I'm going to write this one, this entire program here. What are the program is there? The same program as it is I'm writing here, and here n is nothing but this one, n. Now, for example, I'm going to use the m table. The function name is called as m table, and in the m table, if I give 2, now which table will be printed? 2 table. If I give 3 table. If I give 4 table. What are the table? Is the point is clear? This is with argument. For example, without argument, if you create and if you write here 5, this function was created only for 5 table. Lock. It will not be used for 2 table or 3 table, anything. Now here by writing the n, and here I'm writing with respect to n. So automatically it is going to use the n table, any table. Is that clear? Now, some of the students are asking in the online. Okay. So why we have given the, why didn't use the start and end arguments and in arguments? That one also you can take. For example, table from starting, where to start, from where the table has to start, yes, and where the ending has to be done, that one, 3. So you are going to write here, this is s comma e plus 1. Why e plus 1 means? Because range will not consider the last one. So to include the e, we have to write here e plus 1. If you don't write e plus 1, e will not be included. So when you have written the e plus 1, then now this function was created with how many arguments? 3 arguments. What are the 3 arguments? N, S, E. So I'm going to I want the 4 table starting from 4 ones are 4 to 4 20s are up to 4 20s. So I want the 4 table from 4 ones are to 4 20s. How the user will know that total 3 arguments are there in this? This is only multiplication table number. This is the starting and this is the ending. Miss, I'm going to write here in terms of clearly as a documentation. In the documentation, I'm going to say it is going to return the multiplication table. It will return the multiplication table for the given number n, for the given for the number n from starting of s to end of n, that is e. So clearly I'll write like this, from starting to ending like this. Then automatically the person who is going to use my table, I mean my function, he is going to click on the shift tab. Okay, he will see that it is going to return the multiplication table for the number. What are the number from starting to ending? So n is the number, start is s, e is end, and he will give accordingly. For example, I want the 5 table starting from 5 ones are to 5 tens are. Clear, guys? Your question is clear? First, online student, whoever has asked this question. Noor Ali. Is your question is clear, right? Done. Next, Sapna. Please add the list as an input to. Yes, even you can take as a list as the input to. For example, I want to do the sum of numbers of list. That is 1, 5, 10, 20. These are the numbers. I want to do the sum. For the sum, what I'm going to do is s is equal to 0 for I in L, s is equal to s plus I, print s. What is this is called as program. What it is going to do for the given list, it is going to apply the sum. Now, same thing I'm going to convert as a function. How I'm going to convert as a function means def sum underscore list of L. What are the L you provide? Okay. And inside the L, I'm going to give this one. This is the code inside this. Now, for this function, what is the argument, guys? What is the argument? List is the argument. Sum underscore list. And I'm going to provide the list as the argument. That is 1, 5, 10, 20. I'm going to provide as the list as the argument. And automatically it is going to do the sum of that. And it is going to give the output. Sir, how you can know this one? It has to provide the list only. I will write clearly. In the documentation string, I will say that. Otherwise, how others will understand? What is in my mind? How you can know unless I say that one? So I will clearly say that though this is going to return the sum of, it is going to return the sum of values within the given list L. Right? Now, sir, for example, in the list, instead of values, you are having SRK or something like that. Then it cannot do the sum now. So here I will write the condition first. What is the condition? Means each data type, every value data type is either int or float only. It has to do the sum. So when it has to do the sum means first it is going to take the I is equal to, okay, and if type of I, what are the I is there? It is in int or float. If it is either int or float, in that case, it has to do the sum. Otherwise, that value will not be added in the sum. Now, for example, I'm going to take like this. In this, automatically SRK also is there. Now, still, I'm going to get the output as 36. Why? Because the type of SRK, when it is not there, it is not sent into the sum. Sum was not added with the SRK. SRK might be there, or something, for example, you are having in terms of one more list, nested list is there, 3, 5. It will not consider. These are ignored. Sir, it should not ignore like that, sir. It has to throw the error, sir. Then write the programs according to your choice. As per your requirement, you write the programs. You want to ignore miss, write the program for ignoring. You want to throw the error miss, write the program for error. According to your requirement, you write the program, what you want. In my case, I want to ignore. For ignoring that one, if it is not related to that, it has to do the sum. Else, I will write here, okay, throw error, print error. I will write like this. Like this means example, not this one. Now, once I do like this, see now, if I write here SRK, now it is going to throw the error. Whatever here I'm writing, that one it is throwing. If you write type error, miss type error, what are that one? So they'll write according to the programs, it is going to print. Points are clear, guys? Okay. Now, so otherwise it has to throw the error by default without checking the condition, miss, then automatically if you give like this, it will throw the error. It will only say, hi, how I can use SRK? What is the backend code? Means this is the backend code. Point is clear. So like this, you are going to do the sum. Now ask the user to enter the values and do the sum. For that, write the function. Write the function for asking the user to enter the values one by one, one by one, one by one. He has to enter the values and finally you have to do the sum. For that, function is required. What are the program is there? That program with no arguments. For that particular program, the function will have no arguments. And you have to call that function also with no arguments. Automatically, the program will execute the infinite loop. Okay. When you are having the finite things, then you will create the arguments. For infinite things, no arguments. Points are clear? Everyone? Yes or no? Online students, Sapna, is your question is clear? As the list as the input. Now, coming to the next one. So, Govardhan, is your question is clear? With arguments, the programs with arguments. Renuka, similarly, we can use for other data types? Absolutely. As per your choice. Which are the data types you are interested? Which are the data types you are interested, you can choose. Right? Now, so now these are the user-defined functions. User-defined functions is clear for everyone? Now, tell me guys, this is the function. Def add underscore r a comma b. This function was created with how many arguments? 2 arguments. While calling, how many arguments should be there? 2 arguments should be there. If you call with 1 argument or if you call with no arguments, it will throw the error. If you call with 3 arguments also, it will throw the error. So number of arguments while creating the function, number of arguments while calling the function should be the same. Otherwise, error. Right? So def add underscore r a comma b, c is equal to a plus b, return c. This is the function. Now I'm going to call the add underscore r 2 comma 3. Now what is a value? 2. What is the b value? 3. Why? A value can take 3, b value can take 2 now. No, it is going to take in the same order. This is multiple variable assignment concept. So what are the order of arguments you are writing here? Here also the same arguments. They are called as positional arguments. In the backend, it is going to do like this. It is multiple variable assignment. A value will be assigned with 2, B value will be assigned with the 3. Now, C is equal to A plus B. What is the answer, miss? 2 plus 3, which is 5. Now, whether it will store, because it was written, so it is going to store in the Z. Yes, Z value can store the 5. And if you print Z, what is the answer? 5. Now, in this case, it is going to print. Now, in this case, can it store in the Y? No. If you print Y, what is the output? You are going to get in terms of none. Clear, guys? Already I have explained this example. With another example I have already completed, right? Now, sir, here I'm writing the A minus B. Now tell me, after completing this one, add underscore r 2 comma 3, when I call, what is the output I'm going to get? 2 minus 3, which is minus 1. So A was considered as 2, B was considered as C, A minus B is equal to 2 minus 3 minus 1. Right? Next, coming to this one. This function was created with how many arguments? No arguments. There are no arguments. No arguments means while calling also, how many arguments you have to call? No arguments only. With no arguments, when you call, it will execute the program. It is going to ask enter the first number. I'm going to enter the first number 123. Second number 22. And what is the output it is going to give? Sum of A plus B, that is 123 plus 22, which is 145. So this function was created with no arguments. So while calling also no arguments. Right? Next, we are having the different types of arguments within the function. So a function can have no arguments. Functions can have no arguments, and functions can have with arguments. Functions with arguments. What are the different types of arguments means? Positional arguments, default arguments, keyword arguments, and arbitrary arguments. What is the difference? We'll discuss one by one. First, you take a note of this. We'll discuss one by one. Done. Now, what is meant by positional arguments, default arguments, and keyword arguments? So now first let us understand. Let's take with an example, and using the example, we'll understand one by one. The functions, see here, I'm going to create a function, and this function I'm going to call def sub of A comma B. Okay, A comma B, C is equal to A minus B, return C. Now while calling the function, I'm going to give the 2 comma 3. 2 comma 3 means A will be considered as 2, B will be considered as 3, and it is going to give the output as minus 1. Just previously we have discussed, and what is the concept behind this is A comma B will be considered as 2 comma 3. Okay, and this one is called as positional arguments, means order. What are the order of arguments you have created in the same order? For example, if your requirement is A should be considered as 3, B has to be considered as 2, means clearly you have to write. Clearly while calling the function, if you click on the shift tab, here can you see with A comma B, 2 arguments are there. If you write simply 2 comma 3 means automatically A will be considered as 2, B will be considered as 3. A as 2, B as 3. No, you have to consider B as 2, A as 3. Then what you have to do means 3 comma 2. Then what happens? A will be considered as 3, B will be considered as 2. No sir, I will write 2 comma 3 only. I will write 2 comma 3 only. But still B has to take as 2, A has to take as 3. I will write in this order only, but still it has to take like that, means then in that case you have to clearly mention the keywords. You have to write B is equal to 2, A is equal to 3. If you write like this clearly, then wherever it is there, in whatever the position it is there, it will clearly take the A is equal to 3 only. Is the point is clear, everyone? Clearly, or so while creating the function, is there any difference? No difference. Only difference is while calling. While calling the function, you can call simply by 2 comma 3, or you can clearly write, I'm writing B is equal to 3, A is equal to 2. Okay, this one and this one basically both are same. Okay, so here I'm writing this one 2 comma 3. If here I'm not writing the keywords, these are called as keywords. A comma B, what are the arguments are there now? These arguments, names are there, right? Argument names. Argument names are called as keywords. Now, if using the keywords, are you using the keywords or no, you are not using the keywords? If you are not using the keywords means it will consider as positional arguments. If you are using the keywords means it will be considered as keyword arguments. Now tell me guys, this one. Def, okay, some srk underscore example ex a b c d e. 5 arguments are there and it is going to execute some program. Forget about the program. Inside what are the program is there. srk underscore ex 1 5 2 3 4. Now which one is A, which one is B, which one is C, which one is D, which one is E? A is 1, B is 5, C is 2, D is 3, E is 4. Now srk underscore ex is equal to, I am writing A is equal to 5, B is equal, sorry, first I will write E is equal to, my choice. Wherever I am interested, I will write. No need of sequential order also. But 5 keywords I have to use because function was created with 5 now. So 5 keywords I have to use. So E order is unimportant. E is equal to 2, D is equal to 4, A is equal to 5, B is equal to 1, C is equal to 13. Now in this case, what is out of these 5 arguments, which is A? A value is what? 5. B value what? 1. What is C value? 13. In this case, what is the B value? What is the C value? In this example, C value is equal to 2. In this example, what is the C value? 13. Same function. You can call in this way. Same function you can call in this way. Choice is yours. Sir, why than this one only easy? No, sir. Sometimes it will be easy. Sometimes this will be easy. According to the situation, we have to use. Finally, whichever is easy, that one only will use. You can change the order. Choice is yours. But in the positional arguments, you can't change the order. C value you can bring into the center, wherever you are interested. Yes, later you can change. While calling the function, you can give anything. Is that clear? So while creating the arguments, there will be no difference. While creating the arguments, there is no difference. Only while calling, whether you may call as positional arguments, you may call it as keyword arguments. As per your choice, you can call. Is the point is clear? Sir, some of the arguments can I call with positional, some of the arguments can I call with the keyword. Like that means it will not be a right practice. Either use the positional arguments or use the keyword arguments. Don't combine both of them. There will be no use also. Now, next one. Next example with the default arguments. Keyword and positional arguments are clear, everyone? Now let us move on to the default arguments. What is default argument? Def sub A comma B is equal to 5. Can you see? While creating the function itself, I am writing B is equal to 5. This is Creating a calling a. Creating. How you know? Def. So while creating itself, you are going to give the b is equal to 5. Now b is equal to 5 you have given like this. While creating itself you have given. Now while calling, can you see here shift tab? Now I have clicked on the shift tab. There are two arguments are there. A argument which is having equal to symbol, it is called as default argument. Arguments which are not having the equal to symbol, they are called as compulsory arguments. Okay, equal to symbol is there, equal to symbol is not there. A argument which is having equal to symbol, it is called as default. There is no equal to symbol means compulsory. Compulsory. Second one is called as default. Which are compulsory, either you can call them using the positional or keyword. Within the compulsory, you are having either positional or keyword. Default arguments, default only. How you can identify which is default argument means just click on the tab and which arguments are having equal to symbol, they are default. Okay, argument default, fine. Now what is the meaning of this? If you don't assign, what is the use of default argument means if you don't assign the value for the default arguments, it will take automatically the default value. Now here, this function was created with how many arguments, guys? 2 arguments. But now I'm calling the function with only with 1 argument. Now before to this, I'm not taking the default argument. Now here, how many compulsory arguments are there? How many default arguments are there? 2 compulsory arguments. While calling, I'm calling with the 1 compulsory argument only. It is throwing the error. Can you see what is the error means? 1 argument B is missing. A is there. Where is B? For example, clearly I have written this is only B as a keyword I have given. Then it will ask, oh, where is A? If you use keyword means it will take keyword. If you don't use keyword means it will take by default positional. Point is clear? Now here, how many compulsory arguments are there? 2 compulsory arguments. And since I'm calling with 1 compulsory argument, it is throwing the error. Now example number, next example. Now this function was created with how many arguments? 2 arguments. In that, how many compulsory, how many default? 1 compulsory, 1 default. Now here I'm going to call with the 3. Automatically the second value will be taken as 5. B will be selected automatically with the 5. Because it is a default. No, I have clearly given 2, 8. I have given means it has to take whatever I have given. If I don't give, then you have to take automatically. Now, tomorrow there is a class or no class? Class, tomorrow Saturday, class is there or no? Answer is no. Why? By default, I told that Saturday no class, by default. Unless I mention for you tomorrow there is a class, there is a class. Otherwise, by default, Saturday no class. Example purpose, default example. Right? Default is Saturday no class. If I particularly mention tomorrow there is a class only, class is there. If I don't say no class, no need to ask separately. That is default, by default. Same logic. Okay, in one shot, 2 boards. Right? Clear, right? So default means this is the meaning. If I don't mention means it will take automatically. If I mention means it will take whatever I have given. Clear, everyone? Yes or no? So this is called as default arguments. Now tell me, POW is the function. In this function, okay, how many arguments are there? Total 3 arguments are there. How? One is base, exp, mod. Out of 3 arguments, how many of them are compulsory? How many of them are default? 2 compulsory, 1 default. So here, how many I have to provide minimum? Compulsory, you have to provide compulsorily. Default, your choice. You may provide, you may not provide. 2 is minimum guarantee. Compulsory arguments you have to call. If you don't call means it will throw the error. If you give only one also, it will throw the error. For example, if I say here only one, it will throw the error. Because compulsory arguments are 2 are there. How many compulsory arguments are there? That many arguments you have to give compulsorily while calling. Default arguments, your choice. You may give, you may not give. Okay. Now, def function name is greet. Okay. Here, I'm going to take 2 arguments. Name, comma, greet is equal to greeting. Greeting is equal to good night. Okay. And it has to print or return. Choice is yours. Print means it will not store in a variable. If you want to only print means use the print. If you want to store means don't use the print. Then you have to use the return. Okay. I am printing here name comma greeting. Okay. This is the function, guys. Function was created. Now I am calling the function. What is the function name? Greet. In that I am going to give the name called as SRK and greeting is good morning. Now what is the output? SRK good morning. If I call the same function with only SRK, clear, right? So default argument, when you don't give the value, it will take automatically. When you have given the value, it will take your value only. Now, print. Do you remember the print function? Starting initial classes. Now shift tab. Can you see here arguments? The argument which is having the star mark in the starting, it is called as arbitrary arguments. Arbitrary arguments. The arguments which are having the equal to, it is called as default arguments. Now here I am writing the a comma b or 10 comma 12. By default, what is the separator it is going to take? What is the default? Space. Why? Because it is the default argument. Here I have not mentioned that argument now. Why I am not mentioning the argument means default arguments are not compulsory. Which are compulsory? Which are compulsory means which are compulsory arguments are there? Only those are compulsory. Sir, for example, if you don't write even these 2, then it is not even throwing the error. Sir, why it is not throwing the error, sir? In this, any compulsory argument is there? This is arbitrary. This is default. This is default. This is default. This is default. Any compulsory is there in this? Compulsory is not there. Compulsory means equal to symbol should not be there. Star mark should not be there. Those are called as compulsory arguments. Sir, how to identify, sir? One more time. ABS of. In this, how many arguments are there? One argument, X. For this star mark or equal to is there? No. Sir, after that hash is there now, sir. Hash means completed. Arguments are completed. The meaning is only one argument is there. Right? Now, here in this case, I'm going to take 10 comma 12. Now, what is the default separator? What is the default separator? Means space. No, I want to separate them by using the comma. I want to separate them by using the comma. I have written clearly the comma. Now, whether the separator will be used as comma or whether the separator is space, comma. If you have provided the argument clearly, it will take your argument only. If you don't provide, it will take automatically. Default arguments. Point is clear? Default arguments clear now? Last one is called as arbitrary arguments. What is arbitrary arguments means? How many arguments I am going to provide? I only don't know. In that 1 might be there, 2 might be there, 3 might be there. For example, here 10 comma 12. If I write comma 13, it will work or not work? Print function will work or not work? What is the output? 10 space 12 space 13. If I write here 15, So this function was created with how many arguments? Unlimited arguments. That unlimited arguments only called as arbitrary arguments. So you can provide one argument, you may provide two arguments, you may provide three arguments, unlimited arguments. Now here def function name is called as sub of star a. Now here how many arguments are there? In this function how many arguments are there? One argument only basically. What is that argument? Arbitrary argument. What is that argument? Miss a. What is the type of argument? Arbitrary argument. Now so for I in a, print hello I. Now sub of, first I am going to use Siva only Siva. Now a will store, what a will do means a will store what are the argument I have shared, it will store in the tuple like this. Basically one value I have given na, so a will be stored with one value and it is going to print hello Siva. Now here I am writing the two arguments Siva comma Rama. Now what is a is going to store? Tuple of Siva comma Rama. Now what it is going to give? Print hello Siva followed by print hello Rama. Sir, for example, instead of Siva Rama, you have given 10 comma 11 comma 12. Now like this you have given the 3. Now your a value, what are the a values there? A value will store what? A is equal to tuple of 10 comma 11 comma 12. It is going to store in the tuple. What are the number of arguments you are going to provide? It will store in the tuple. For I in a, print hello I. First it will take the 10, hello 10, hello 11, hello 12. It is going to give like this. Is the point is clear? So this is arbitrary arguments. So different types of arguments are clear, guys. Compulsory arguments. Within the compulsory, positional keyword. Second one is default followed by arbitrary. All of them are clear or any questions? Syntax for arbitrary arguments is star arbitrary argument name. Default argument a is equal to compulsory argument only a. While creating, you have to use out of these three any one. There is no difference while creating the positional arguments and keyword arguments. There is no difference. Creation can be done. Creating a function can be done either by using the arbitrary, default or compulsory. Creating can be done only these three. While calling, keyword will be added. Keyword arguments only while calling, not while creating. Right? Yes. Arbitrary arguments always take the output as tuple. What are the things you are providing? It will store in the tuple. It will store in the tuple. Sir, can we use same output with def or without def? Then what is the use of def? How you can get the same output without def? You have to create one function, miss. You have to use the def. For example, Govardhan. You are asking in, okay, you are asking the question is in terms of what is the use of defining the function? What is the advantage of function, right? This is a good question. Now, very simple answer for your question. Very simple answer. What is the answer is, for example, here the list of values are there. Okay, list of values. These are the list of values, and I want the sum. Govardhan. Not only for Govardhan, for others also. Here there is a list of values, and I want the sum of the list of values. Now, another list is there. Another list is there. List is another. And again, I want the sum. Now, what you are going to do? Either you have to replace here. I don't want to replace. This one also required. That one also required. One more list is there. Okay. One more list means, again, you have to write the program. One more list. 1, 0, 25, 30. This is one more list, right? I'm having one more list. Sir, you can edit this code. No, sir. No. I want this answer also. 36 also should be there. 56 also should be there. One more answer also I require. Okay. Now, again, list of values are different. Now, this list is different. 20, 30, 40. Right? Now, total how many lines of code you have written? For getting 3 different answers, how many lines of code? 3 of them should be visible. Sir, instead of why 3, sir, this one only you can write here, miss. If I write here, then this will, any one only will be visible now. Where is 36? I want 36, 56 also. That one I want, this one also I want. Both I want. Now in this case, now how many lines of code I have written? 4 or here 5 lines of code, 5 lines of code, 5 lines of code. Total 15 lines of code. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm creating a shortcut for this as a function. I'm creating one shortcut as a function. Okay. Total how many lines of code I have written for creating the function? 5 lines. 5 lines of code. Now this one, first time I'm going to use sum underscore list this function with this list. What is my first list? This one. This is the first list, list number 1. And this is the output. Second time I'm using the same function. Sum underscore list is the function. And this time, what is my second list? List number 2. This is the one, which will give the output as 56. Now, third time, I'm going to use the sum underscore list. And I'm going to use this one, this list. Now, total how many lines of code? Same outputs, na? 36, 56, 90. 3 outputs are visible. Here also 3 outputs are visible. Now, here total how many lines of code I have written? 15 lines of code. If I bring all of them in a single cell, okay, I'm writing here. This one also I'm writing here on. In a single cell, I'm writing. So, to get the 36, 56 and 90 separately like this, I require the 15 lines of code. Now, here, how many lines of code? 5 plus 1, one time only creation, 100 times you can use that one. For example, I want to use the 10 different list. Then, without writing the function, how many lines of code I have to create? For one list, 5 lines. For 10 list, 10 into 5, 50 lines of code without function. Now, with the function, first time I will create the 5 lines of code. After 5 lines of code, for one list, one line only, na? So 15. So 35 lines are saved. So when you are repeating the code, the function will be useful. Sir, for example, I'm not repeating, sir. Don't create the function, sir. Waste. So functions are used only when you are going to use the same code for multiple times. It avoids the repetition. It avoids the repetition and makes the code reusable. You can use the same code for different values. Multiple times you can call the same function. Creation will be done one. Using can be done for multiple. Clear, guys? Go over then. Is your question is also clear? Right. Others, still any questions? That is the advantage of function. Functions are used instead of repetition. Sir, I don't want to repeat, sir. I will use only for one time, sir. Then are you going to create the function, miss? No. Why, sir? Because on the top def is there now. That is also waste, right? That one line also waste. Why to create def line and why to call that function? 2 lines extra na, unnecessarily. Simply program is sufficient. Why to add on the top def? Why to call the function separately? So when you are not repeating the code, don't create the functions. Functions are used only when you are repeating the same code. shortcuts for that. Clear, guys? Now, tomorrow you are having the exam. Okay? So tomorrow there is an exam at 4 o'clock. Same pattern, same type of test. Same OMR sheets, questions are different. On core Python from starting to till today, including the functions. It includes the functions from the starting to including the functions. Right? So tomorrow exam at 4 o'clock, both offline and online students. Same logic, same sentences, copy paste. Whatever I have told before to the exam, same. Don't copy from others. If you want to copy means no need to come also. Your choice. It is not compulsory. Yes, if you are having any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, already you packed it, right? Notes. Just a minute, guys. I'm going to upload the notes. Just give me 1 minute of time. Yeah, it will be available in the core Python folder, same folder. Yes, please ask. Which of the following is set in the Python? Set. A or D is similar. Both are same only, na? Yeah, which of the following is a set in Python? B is 1, 2, 3 set. That is also set. D is also set. Both B and D. Answer is both D and D. Answer is both D and D. Yeah. If you are having any questions, please ask. Otherwise, you can leave. Already offline students has left. Done, guys. Thank you. Thank you all.